Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. Welcome to episode 9 of our Canada run, the final episode of the Canada run. I've made a decision, which is central planning. Nice. Now, this actually is good, because this will allow us to reduce the size of the government sector. So let's start with. We're gonna go slowly. Are we gonna go slowly? No. I'm gonna knock out this business here in Borneo real What are you? You're a protectorate. Okay, hold on. Before we do this, is Sulu your capital? It's not in North Borneo. Alright. Let's see. Transfer state. Sulu, North Borneo. They don't want to. But I feel like I could get there. Oh man. This will be a lot of money. Okay, hold on. We're pretty close. This is very silly. This is very silly. I might be able to make this happen. So what is this? This is a 30% chance. If I can't get this, no sweat. But if I can... Oh, what if, non-colonization agreement, that doesn't help me. I'm not going to give them a state or a treaty port. A bunch of other things are unavailable. Guarantee dependence, because our relations are not good enough. And then there's a bunch of other stuff because, yeah. So, let's see if this works. If it doesn't, no big deal. The Convention of San Fernando. But if they can, and they don't want... Nah, there's no other stuff. Alright, if they're not willing to, it's fine. We'll see what they say. It's only a 30% chance. If I can hand North Borneo off to Kutai, they decline. Alright, that's okay. That's okay. These things happen. Well, actually what that means is that this situation is never going to be... Kutai might be able to get Borneo formed if they get all of West Borneo as well. We'll see. Canadian-British Union offers opportunity. The Canadian-British Union has offered us an opportunity to acquire trade privileges from Great Britain. The lobby has offered to use their connections to smooth the negotiating process. The negotiations, done under the table with a representative of the British government, have been long and arduous. The British representative knew they were dealing with a group without power to match theirs and had adjusted their strategy accordingly. Nonetheless, they'd come to an agreement. Nothing in writing, but that was hardly important. When the government sent the official copy, if they did, they would find that there was already a drafted response waiting in London. We'd be happy to pursue this. I think we'll add it to the journal. So the short... What I'm doing is this thing, and I'm gonna get it done. I'm just gonna knock it right out. Portugal or Bali might step up, and if they do, then it is what it is. Alright, we will grab an army from over here, put the 8th Army in there. We'll just place them on the border. It'll be fine. Alright, now, I'm doing a rejigger of my, my government capacity here, so... Okay, hold on. Telephone switchboards, go. Athabascan National Movement organizes in Yukon territory. Organizers affiliated with the Athabascan National Movement have embarked upon a focused campaign to inspire support for multiculturalism in the Yukon territory. Residents of every region in the world like to say that their home has a long and unique history of tight-knit community. The organizer almost agreed. The problem was, of course, that said community often did not extend to outsiders. He had been thrown out on his ear more times than he could count, but he persisted nonetheless. If he could introduce the right phrase into the right circles, perhaps even an idea that had been rejected out of hand at first would begin to find purchase. There are plenty of willing ears in Yukon Territory. Increased Athabascan national movement. Yukon Territory gets increased universal pop strength and increased radicals from political movements. Or they must be concerned with far more grounded things. The Athabascan national movement does not increase in size, half the modifiers for Yukon Territory. I'm going to do that second one, because I don't want a stronger Athabascan national movement, because Athabascan people are not very well accepted in my nation. And will not be unless I get multiculturalism, which is not really on the table at this stage. Okay, so, Ontario. We now are way over in taxation capacity, so let's reduce the size of the government. Hell? Oh. Well, that's not ideal. I reduced the size of the power plants, too. Alright, let's let that get over... Alright, still at 3290. Let's cut 10. 2682, we're still looking alright. Yeah, they sure did decline. So that was about... a reduction of about 800. Can't do all that, but we'll drop another 5 levels. And what does that put us at? 2180, I think that's fine. Alright. Next we'll do Quebec. Taxation capacity is actually pretty tight for Quebec. Telephone switchboards, there we go. We'll let a week turn over. And then we're at 1784. So we'll drop by 9 levels. 1308, that's probably fine. Manitoba, taxation capacity, we're currently at 590. Telephone switchboards. That puts us at 849. Ooh, new mandate available. Cool. I'm going to drop... Stupid railways. Jumping in the way of the government cost cutting. Alright, that's 629. That should be good to go. Actually, I could probably lose a few more in Quebec. Oh, no, we're a little close in Quebec. Alright, we'll leave that. Next we'll do Saskatchewan. You're actually short of infrastructure. I'm going to build some railways here. And then taxation capacity is right on the line. So we'll swap over. Establish the film arts. Exciting. I'll do this first. We'll drop that to 8. Taxation capacity is just fine. Alright. So we've done Saskatchewan, we'll go to Alberta next. But first, the moving picture. The acquisition of film recording equipment and the establishment of movie theaters throughout Canada has led to a fledgling film industry taking root. When she was a young girl, she'd been allowed to borrow a phenacastoscope. I goof up this word every time. It's like it's the first time every time. She'd been allowed to borrow a phenakistoscope, and found herself transfixed by the spinning disc, by the dancing couple seemingly turning round and round on it. Years later, she thought it a child's fancy, a simple illusion for a malleable mind. However, as she saw the projection of the train entering the station, she felt herself transported back to that moment. The magic was real again. Film is the perfect tool to capture the harsh reality of our age, stronger and happier trade unions and rural folk. Or cinema shall be at the frontier of storytelling, stronger and happier intelligentsia and petite bourgeoisie. You know, I'm going with that second one, because we're doing a big technocracy. Alright, Alberta next. We're doing, actually, we're quite well over there in taxation capacity. So when we swap that over, we're actually almost at double what we need in Alberta here. So we'll drop... I'm going to drop 4 levels. And that puts us at 573, which is just fine. Alright. Northern Columbia taxation capacity, we're right on the line. No problem with that. We'll swap over, and then we'll do... we'll just knock down 2 levels. As you can see, this is improving our finances a little bit. Those are our... Oh, Maritimes. Maritimes and the Rock. The Rock is basically fine. Maritimes, we got 21 levels of government, so we'll swap over that. We're at almost double, so I'll cut 5 levels to start. Actually, 6. And that gets us at, we're about 300 over our baseline. So, oh no, we're not quite 300 over our baseline. 964. I can still cut a couple more. But that's all I'm going to cut. Alright, and then we'll do the rest of the country. We'll swap over to telephone switchboards, and that'll be just fine. The other areas will grow into it. So next, I do want to get one automotive industry producing airplanes. But where? Let's go with Newfoundland. And I think to simulate the market there, we will grab this army and enable aerial recon. And that'll be fine. Ooh, we have a flamethrower method. Oh, they're going to lose all their organization, but that's okay. Flamethrower method will be useful to modern wars. Yeah, I know. Alright, we'll start them on defense for the time being. Alright, so from here... I guess we are a little bit short on airplanes. Oh, because this hasn't been built yet. Alright. Well, that's okay. It will be built, and that's what happened. That's what matters. I'm going to put a couple more levels in here. We'll go up to 5, just to make sure that it's sufficient short term. Alright, so we are on defense. We can probably go forward. I'm not worried. I'm not worried. We'll see what happens. But before we do that, can I go ahead and annex you? Not yet, because we're in the middle of another war. Alright, beautiful. And the ace officer, Randolph Clarkson, has gained renown, not merely for utilizing aircraft in battle, but even for flying one himself in the skies over North Borneo. The papers are calling him the Little Knight. He's astounding. I can't tell if it'd be better to parade him around at home or keep sicking him on everyone in North Borneo. Hero worship will help domestically. He gets extra popularity forever, and our war support increases. Or war heroes need to stay in the war. He gets extra army offense forever. I'm going to go with that second one. It just makes sense. Great Britain's going after Scandinavia, but they're trying to steal a bunch of territories in Southeast Asia. Be prepared. I wonder what that's for. Well, that probably won't affect me. This should go pretty quickly. Austria sides of Scandinavia. Okay, all right. We might be about to do a general European war or something, but I don't need to worry too much about that. Come on, music player. And that's the conclusion of our war. Sumbus, let's go ahead and annex you. And this army will mobilize once again and finish that out. And then as soon as we get these wars done, we'll just pass this territory off to Kutai. Thomas Chisholm, a positivist, has appeared in Canada. That's interesting. Are you pressuring anybody? I can make you the leader. Positivist would make you happy with presidential republic, happy with technocracy, which would be good. You're well liked. Maybe this is wise. On the other hand, can I make you a leader yet? No. Not even a little bit. Gosh dang. Henry Mackenzie, you failed me. You failed me for the last time, Mackenzie. Alright, let's hope this doesn't become a problem. It's made our legitimacy even go down. But that's okay. That's okay. These things happen. Again, our goal with this situation is to be able to make Kutai into Borneo. Obviously, this is going to make our other subjects a little bit unsteady, but that's okay. You know, we'll do what we need to do. I think after that, I'm going to go after the Guangdong clique, and sundry other territories in China. Ooh, the Shandong clique is actually also getting strong. Getting a hold of the whole coast would be really interesting. Russia, you've decided that you're a rival. I was already rivaling you, so no problem. And I have 13 million in credit. I'm paying 16k a week in interest. I think I'm just gonna continue to not build for a little bit. And we'll just let that kind of be. How's the market looking? Cars are still quite expensive. Well, I guess I'll have to build up the automotive industry. Let me see. Northern Colombia definitely... Oh, my goodness. We got a market access shortage here. Let's go ahead and build ourselves 4 levels, or 5 levels of... Let's build 10. Let's build 10, because I'm about to build up a huge automotive industry increase here as well. Bam, and bam. Alright, now we're in the red, but that's okay. That's okay. It's reasonable. We're doing economic stimulus and whatnot. Siak abolitionist revolt. Ah, I should have intervened in that. Well, that's okay. That's okay. Lost opportunities. It is what it is. Bastar. Interesting. France has become kind of enclosed here. I wonder if I could purchase this territory and hand it off to Mahashatra. Let me see. Population here is predominantly Dakhani. Mahashatra is a Marathi culture, which is Dakhani heritage Southern Indic language. And Dakhani is Hindustani language. It's a different Indo-Aryan language. Oh, it's a different. Wait, hold on. It's the same heritage for culture, but a different language. All right. Well, maybe we'll think on that. We'll think on that. We'll see what France is willing to consider here. Alright, so this war should be able to be knocked out really fast now that we've got full organization. And let's take a quick look at our market once again. Meat and grain are still expensive. Art is still expensive. Steel is still expensive. I can't really get steel to be less expensive, though. Because we're, How are we importing airplanes? Don't import airplanes. Dragon of the Trenches. Although a situational weapon, the flamethrower is proving effective in the Canada versus Sambas war as support in close-range trench warfare. We humans may lord our mastery of fire over the lesser creatures, but there is no starker reminder of how much a fearful animal still lives in a man's heart than seeing the fire fill the ditch he's hiding in. Few die from the flames. Many die trying to escape them. It should strike fear into the hearts of our enemies, extra morale damage. It should be deployed where it can effectively flush out soldiers, extra kill rate. I'm going to go for morale damage. That just seems sensible to me. I think winning battles is more important. Alright. So now, Kutai. Grant State. Canada West Borneo. Confirm. And that should allow them to turn into Borneo. I'm hoping that allows them to turn into Borneo. If they can't, it's not a tragedy. Alright, so next... This stuff is almost done. So next, Guangdong Click, what kind of army have you got? You've got a pretty large army. You're peasant levy. Interesting. Alright. And there's nitrogen fixation. So, this will allow us to produce more fertilizer. which will in turn make our farms even more productive. If I can find them, chemical fertilizers. And let's go to tractors. Make them a little bit more efficient. Livestock ranches. Oh, we actually do have mechanized farming. So we'll go to mechanized slaughterhouses. That'll make them more efficient as well. And that should be good. And there's the aircraft carrier. Beautiful. So, I think the next thing we want to do is queue in. Let's see. We'll do 15 levels of light ships. 5, 10, 15. And then we'll do 25 levels of carriers. So, 5, 10, 15, 25. Or 20, 25. And that should get done pretty fast. And what that'll do is that'll give us a baseline market for airplanes, which will make our automotive industry we got producing airplanes more productive. All right. Next, Guangdong click. How would you like to be a protectorate of Canada? Looks like nobody will step in. Let's do it. I'm actually, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to mobilize the 3rd Army. I'm going to place them in Kutai to be ready for the naval invasion. Brazil is improving relations. Delightful. 2nd Fleet will get moving over there as well. I know they're technically not quite big enough to participate. Maybe they could get big enough to participate. Let me see. Yeah, we'll throw in an extra 5 scout cruisers just to get them big enough to be able to be involved. I'm gonna queue these to the top of the queue. Come on. Okay, alright, we're doing it. Mexico sides with. Interesting. Fascinating. Well, I think I'll mobilize a slightly larger army to deal with Mexico. Now, let's be realistic here. Alright, now we've got a shortage of air, so let's take a quick look at that, at our automotive industry. Just make sure it's fully productive. And if it is... Yes, alright, you're fully productive. We still have a shortage. Only have 59 purchase orders. That's bananas. I guess these really don't produce that many. Alright. We'll swap the ones in Saskatchewan over as well. That's going to make them less productive, but it is going to be... Yeah, that's fine. Alright, tanks are still looking good. Now, what was I looking at before? Grain's looking a little better, and meat is too, which I'm pretty pleased about. Pretty jazzed about that. Now, what do I want? Mexico. Oh. We'll add a war goal to forcibly nationalize all of Maya's Mexican-owned building levels. That's going to help their economic growth a lot. And that's going to be good. I don't feel the need to mobilize any other forces. I don't think anyone else is going to step in our way here. Mexico has quite a large army, but it's not a very high-tech one. And we've got a very large high-tech army here. We are having a little bit of a shortage of armor. So let's go ahead and increase the size of the Manitoba automotive industry and the Saskatchewan... Oh, wait, no. The Saskatchewan one produces no cars with this pattern, correct? Yeah, no, they're all military all the time. That might be a mistake. Instead, I think I'm going to increase the size of the Newfoundland ones. And when they're done, we'll swap the Newfoundland ones over to producing... Well, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. The mechanization of farming The grand project of mechanizing agriculture throughout Canada is complete. Never before have such abundant yields been tallied. I got a brand new combine harvester. Oh, that's fascinating. You think I could borrow it once you finish your harvest? Of course, I'll give you the key. I'm glad we can work together in such perfect harmony. I'll distribute food surplus to the poor. Extra welfare payments, but could yields be even higher? Extra throughput. I'm gonna go with the throughput. I think that's better. Again, I'm rocking level 4 institutional involvement here with welfare, so I'm not hurting for Mexican invasion. Wild. That's wild, Mexico. They're land invading our capital across the United States. So are they... They should be suffering an organization penalty soon. Once they get here. I don't know. I don't rightly know how land invasions work. I'm not sure what functionality this is. But I guess we'll find out. I've only ever done one like one time. And it led to my troops being immediately kind of out of supply. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Unfortunately, for them, they've moved their armies off the... Oh, my goodness. What's going on in here? Interesting. Very interesting. France is going after the Netherlands to get Luxembourg and Siak. Curious. Oh, yeah, I was going to go after Belgium. But I'm not going to. Maybe I will eventually, but not in the short term, at least. Bengal sides with the Netherlands. Alright, so we might end up getting pulled into this. If we did, it wouldn't be terrible. Bengal is still a major, yes? Yeah, they sure... Oh, no, that's France. Hold on. Bengal. They're a major, but they're not a great power. Alright, so that shouldn't be... I'm not worried about that. Alright, looks like both of our fronts are doing really well, so I am fully pleased with this. Newfoundland and Labrador have a shortage of construction efficiency. And I'm wondering if that's... Why is your construction efficiency low? Talk to me. Just in the oh, relatively low bureaucracy. Just in the trade unions. Alright, not a problem. Not a problem at all. So... It looks like they are going to be pretty willing to overall accept peace here. Accept a Canadian victory here. Particularly Guangdong, which is now fully occupied. So I'm not worried about that. Valdemar von Baudissin has been exiled from the Schleswigian fascist revolt. Curious. A humanitarian. Well, that's not shocking that he was exiled from a fascist revolt. I am still a little bit tempted to try to subjugate Belgium. But I think I want to continue to work in China, because that's going to be good for me longer term. Belgium is just kind of a... It would make me feel good, but I think overall China offers more resources of the ones that I need. Although I am a little bit short on iron, although I can develop iron in China. I'm also a little bit short on rubber. Maybe I can go after other countries in Southeast Asia. I might have a few more rubber plants to expand here in West Borneo, and I sure do. So let's go ahead and build those. Oh, and I do in North Borneo as well. Lovely. And East Borneo. I guess I just never developed rubber in Borneo. Alright, So that's Guangdong click. I'm going to go ahead and start improving relations. Their liberty desire is going up, but only because relations are bad. As you can see, they don't have the overlord recently annexed subject opinion tick down because they weren't my subject when that happened. When I annexed part of my subject. All right, Mexico, are you willing to allow the buildings to be nationalized? Cool. Lovely. So that should make these buildings owned by Maya, correct? Rather than me. Yeah, it's looking like a yes. Delightful. Just delightful. Perfect. Alright, very nice. Now we're going back to... Oh, yeah. I should, I do love rubber, but I'm going to stop building up rubber to go back to the other stuff. Do I still need to increase tea output? I think I do. Let's go ahead and build up tea production capacity in here. I know I said I was going to focus on paying down debt, and I am going to. But first, I'm going to build a whole mess of tea plantations. Let's also take a look at where silk is, because at this point, I can import tariff silk and export subvention silk because I'm holding territory in China and have the ability to produce my own silk. Alright, so right away there's a seismic shift in the price of silk. That's interesting. Silk was actually reasonably affordable in my market. I am going to increase... Just get a few levels. No, we got plenty of levels here. We got plenty of levels. I'm actually good. I'm actually good with the silk situation. It looks like it is going down in price. Let's see. Or no, it's going up in price. Alright, talk to me. What's the... Why is it going up in price but reducing in demand? That's so strange. Okay, so that's it ticking up again. Maybe it's just other things changing. Maybe that's what's going on. Alright, so we should see this number, this amount brought in from trade centers going down. And that would be very good. Now, let's take a quick look at any iron down here. There is. These iron mines are having a hard time hiring. But they are hiring. There's plenty of labor available in eastern Guangdong. Are there not? There absolutely are. Alright, so let's build up these mines. Let me make sure I'm doing okay for infrastructure, and we are. Here, actually, Fujian could use a little bit more infrastructure, and then Western Guangdong is doing just fine for infrastructure. You also have iron capacity? You do not. Alright. Alright, so as our tea plantations get built, this is the last round of them we queued in, which will be done this week. And then we'll see the mines going. And as these hire in, we should see a drop in the price of tea in our market. And indeed, there is. And there is still tea being brought in via trade. Quite a bit of it, too. That's bananas. Perhaps these tea plants are still trying to hire? Maybe they are. Maybe I need more of them. As bananas as that sounds, these ones are in the process of hiring. Okay, these ones are hiring. So, let's let them continue to increase in staffing. Okay, alright. Okay, I actually need another round of tea plantations, so we'll do 10 more. 10 more. Do I do another 10 here? I think I do. And then I'll do 10 more here and 10 more here. So this is 50 more levels of tea plantations. That's going to produce 50 levels is 20 per level. That's 1,000. Yes, that's 1,000. Which with scaling modifiers should cover most of what's being brought in from trade centers right now. Again, I'm cognizant of how much we're spending here on interest. And the Russians and the Brazilians are fighting. Brazil wants the hedge from Russia. This we might get involved in. These should actually only be being produced for another few weeks. Ah, the do a promotion event. The industrialists demand the promotion of Major General Louis-Joseph Bissot, touting his history of loyal and effective service. So many medals adorned his jacket that one could scarcely see the fabric beneath, but it was not yet enough. Chest puffed out with pride, the general smiled as he imagined the look on Clarkson's face when the lieutenant general learned of his imminent ascension. Their rivalry was legendary among the officers. At last, he would have his due. I'm going to say he's earned it. Do a quick review of our consumption taxes to make sure that we're spending our stuff optimally. Let's cut the one on fruit for now and see if we can't make more money taxing something else. We sure can. Luxury clothes and tax radios. That's bananas. Let's tax fine art. Do I want radios? Nah, I want to tax fine art. All right. Anyways, we're now making well more than we were getting with our fruit tax. Services is still a huge one. Okay, this is a world war. All right. So on one side we have Brazil, Carnatic, and Oman. On the other side we have Russia, Spain, and Japan. Big man Japan. So what'd you give me? You give me war goals, transfer of subject. Nah. Nothing I'm thirsty for on that list. Let me take a quick look at Fujian here. I am going to spend those things. All right, these railways are getting built, but infrastructure is holding at just fine. So we'll do a quick look here. Actually, got 2 available. Let's max out external trade because that's our primary thing. All right, now we're 24 months, so we should actually. I think we'll. I don't think we'll finish the power block by the end of the run, but we'll be very close. Prussia is improving relations. That's interesting. Confederation of the Rhine. Oh, interesting. Wait, where is the Confederation of the Rhine? So the Confederation of the Rhine is usually a French subject. Okay, so the Russians and the Prussians are fighting now. I can't find the Confederation of the Rhine. If they're not a French subject, that would be kind of bananas. Maybe they're not. Oh, maybe they're a protectorate. These fellas. Okay, where are you at? Oh, they're what was once Baden. Interesting. And there's compression ignition. All right, beautiful. Oh, and this lets us also mass produce cars. Beautiful. That's perfect. So we'll take Saskatchewan off of airplane production. Newfoundland should be producing all the airplanes we need at this stage. Now we'll go to rural. Go to in-country. And let's get our mines running diesel pumps. And that is going to cost us a lot of oil, but we've got plenty of oil in this market. That's also going to make our mines supremely profitable. We can also do compression ignition tractors, which is going to make our farms even more profitable, even though they seem to think they're quite unprofitable. So, let's take a quick look now at what that means for mineral resources in our market. Expecting to find them pretty low because we should be overproducing a lot. Not necessarily. Alright, we'll start down from the top. Iron we are still a little tight on, which is a bit of a shock. Lead we're also tight on, which is quite a shock. Coal we're basically okay. I'm going to set coal to export subvention just for reasonable reasons. And then where is... Yeah, and then sulfur we're just fine. We'll export V and sulfur. Okay. But perhaps we are... Interesting. Are we truly... Our iron mines are fully employing, right? They're not quite yet, but they will be. They will be. Now that they're supremely efficient, they will be. What about our coal mines? Same deal, they're hiring up. Alright, beautiful. How is unemployment looking? It's very, very low. Excellent. Lead mines hiring up, very good. And gold, interesting. The gold mines in Yukon territory were not fully employing. And then what about the sulfur mines? Sulfur mines are actually good to go, which is a little bit of a shock. Alright, so we could use more lead production. Let's just finish out these ones in the Maritimes and Newfoundland. And then, yeah, we're still... I don't know why I keep checking iron mines as though I'm not maxed on iron mines. Where else could I go for iron? Shandong is in a war with somebody, but who? Portugal. They're in a war with Portugal. Portugal's trying to steal a state. Interesting. Alright, so the Anhui click. No iron capacity here. Shandong, no iron capacity here. Curious. What about... Zhejiang is French. Well, Zhejiang is not French. They are a subject of France, but they are not French. It would be very much a mistake to assert that they are French. Now, what about Beijing? Beijing does have iron capacity. The Beiyang government is currently an insignificant power, so I could puppet them. That would also get me a hold of Formosa, no, Formosa is a Chinese liberal revolt. And they're still in that war? It looks like they are. Interesting. Mackenzie McMurrick. McMurrich? Hard to say. He's an integralist. So, integralist, what would this do for me? Labor associations likes corporatized unions. Citizenship likes subjecthood. Curious. Yeah, I'm not vibing with this guy too good, to be completely honest. Alright, Beiyang government. What would it take? 9.9 infamy. That's almost none. It's kind of bananas that I'm even considering this, but it is the former capital of China, and it is a very well-developed territory industrially. And I've got a little bit of infamy to play with. So let's do it. Anyone step in? Russia might. I'm not freaking scared of them. They do have a significant the sized armed force, but I'm not worried. Alright. I'm not zero worried. I am going to bring in the third army, which is a larger army. We're going to station them in Kutai, same as we did before, and then naval invade. And if Russia steps in, well, maybe I'll take Manchuria as well. We'll see. This will also potentially get me more access in here as we develop these subjects. Scandinavia sides with the Bayon government. That's a little bit curious. Scandinavia, do you have any... Andrew McCallum, exiled from the United States. A landowner ethno-nationalist. Don't need that guy. Do you have any subjects? Scandinavia? Damaging relations, withdrew from the treaty. You have a puppet. You have a puppet in Angush. Where are you? You're in Southeastern Africa. Alright. I'm still not too worried about this. I'm going to mobilize 2 of my smaller armies. Just simply to successfully defend against naval invasions. And otherwise, I'm not going to worry too much about it. Again, it's if the Russians step in, then that's a whole other question. But I don't think they're gonna. Regime change in Mahashatra. Bayon government. How do you intend to get there? You only got 3 boats. You only got 3 boats, Lieutenant Dan. The Yunnan clique has been cut in half by their own rebellion. That's a fascinating... That's a Hearts of Iron 4-ass rebellion is what that is. Oh yeah, trade privileges in Great Britain. Tell you what, Great Britain. How about trade privileges? Lovely doing business with you. That's the lobby opportunity complete. Probably could have gotten more out of that, to be completely honest. Bayon government relations are good, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Ooh, I can nationalize more French industry. Let's go back to our building registry. Location, in Canada. Owners... non-Canadian owners. Alright, I believe mines were big ones. French. And some in Newfoundland. 13 levels. That's fine. Glassworks. Friends on some of our glassworks. That's an interesting thing to learn. Livestock ranches. Just a few levels. Oil. France owns a lot of our oil, which is interesting. Again, I don't want to decay relations too bad. Alright. That should be fine. Once again, all these buildings should be being privatized within the market. I think logging camps will be more productive if they got labor-saving methods rolling. Even if they think they won't be. Yes, and these oil wells are being privatized, so that's fine. Those are some productive oil wells. Heck. Chocolate plantations. Ooh, factory radios. Don't mind if I do. Delicious. Now these ones say they'll be more productive with citrus orchards. But what does that do to the price of grain? Grain's doing okay, actually. Let's go back and see if they were lying. They weren't. They still think they're more productive this way. Well, who am I to argue with them? I completely forgot to start my naval invasion. Gotta do that. My Sea First Fleet is a little light on command capacity. Both these fellas are elders. Let's go ahead and throw a new guy in. Ooh, a bigoted corporatist and a naval commander. Don't mind if I do. Welcome to the family, son. They're gonna do a rework of how promotion works for commanders in the new update, which I am excited about. That's gonna be fun. Alright, other market needs. We're not producing our own wine. We have vineyards available. Just curious. Perhaps we should. I mean, these buildings are productive. Maybe we'll just build up a bunch of levels. There's no reason we couldn't produce our own wine. Maybe I'll throw some taxes on there. Maybe I won't. We'll see. We got a sugar productivity problem in our market, which is interesting. Where have we got sugar production capacity? Oh my goodness, North Borneo doesn't have rice farms. Hold on. Hold on. That's got to be handled. We need at least one level of rice farms, of mainline grain production in all of our areas. Let's use the map. Here's the map. Sugar. Sugar plants. Where can we have sugar? Sugar, sugar, sugar. Anywhere in the market. Oh. Hyderabad has sugar capacity. Mandalay has sugar capacity. Don't mind if I do. Laos has sugar capacity. Excellent. Kampuchea, which is Cambodia, has sugar capacity. Let's go ahead and roll it. Alright, lovely. So... did the naval invasion work? Seems like it did not. What are you guys doing? Do a naval invasion, you goobers. What happened? That's really weird. I don't know how to parse what happened there. I need to pay closer attention this time. Oh, interesting. Formosa surrendered to the Bayan government. Ah. Interesting. Well, I'll get that territory as well, then. Convenient. Alright, so, naval battle is happening. We're winning that real easy. So that should be sorting out that fleet momentarily. Presently. Shortage of airplanes. That's a little curious. Oh, interesting. I have the capacity for diesel engines. Let me take a look at where we are with motors and where we are with oil. We are pretty short on engines. International exchange standards and zeppelins. Wonderful. But where are we with oil? That's the real question. Oil is still relatively affordable. Well, what the heck? Let's go to diesel engines. Heck yes. You just think you're unproductive. You just think you're unproductive. Export subventions ahoy for engines. Alright. Now. Tech tree. That basically finishes out military. I could do stormtroopers for a little bit more strength, but I don't feel like I need that. So let's continue to bash away at production. Dough rollers is a nice one. Oil turbine? Maybe. Anything I want in society? Not really. Fascist. If I ventured on political agitation, I could go to antibiotics. That'd be nice. Got my final level of health investment. But that would require me to speed up political agitation, and I don't necessarily want that. Oh, actually, no, I do. Because that will get me feminism. That'll start a women's liberation movement. Alright. So next, we invade Formosa, aka Taiwan. And then, this war will basically be done, and that'll be nice. Ooh, excellent. I got a little bonus. I thought Formosa was going to be a revolt for a while now, but apparently not. Alright, oil is... We're importing oil. That's not okay. I have tons of oil capacity. So... Let's build up our own oil supply, shall we? Let me see. Okay. In Canada, oil supplies are maxed out. But... I have... oil supplies in... Borneo. How are we doing with infrastructure? We're doing just fine with infrastructure. 30 levels of oil production it is. And that should be just fine infrastructure-wise. Now what about West Borneo? None in West Borneo. Not as much in North Borneo. Oh, but there's iron capacity in North Borneo, too. Wonderful. I'm going to need some railways in North Borneo, and that's fine. Up in the air! The Shaban airship has been selected as the very special venue for an upper-class ball. The most distinct members of the nation have expressed their opinions on this grandiose machine. From this height, the horizon is but a golden necklace. Carefully tight around the vibrant blues of the sky, dinner is coming and the restaurant is filled with light smoke and deep voices. May I offer you a seat, miss? I shall not dare to write down my name, for some of us have secrets that cannot follow beyond land. The brassy sound of cutlery follows the last heartbeats of the sun in a rhythmic valediction, systole, diastole. Such a shameful eccentricity. This is a scouting war machine. Extra army offense for 2 years. I'm not in love with that. Look at those velvet cushions and the painted silk walls. Stronger and happier petite bourgeoisie and industrialists. Or, if only all this space was used for goods instead of passengers, extra trade capacity. I'm just going to make my two governing interest groups happier and stronger. I think that's the way to go. What war is this? Who are you at war with, Tidor? You're at war with Java. Oh, interesting. Java, what are you at war with Tidor about? You want to steal that territory and you want regime change in Java. Interesting. Alright. China. How's about you be a protectorate? Lovely. So now, we have a market access problem here, which is due to a shortage of railways, clearly. Maybe not. Let's see. You're fully... Well, my private sector is building railways here, so that shouldn't be an issue. Wow, that's really brutal. Let's take a quick look at the private. Just take a gander at how long that's going to take. Yeah, I'm actually going to throw in... six of these at the top of my government queue because I want to get them done fast. The other ones are going to take a long time. I will improve relations with the Bayon government. Now let's take a look at Formosa. Formosa's doing just fine. They have any useful... Oh my goodness. Can't build. No arable land. Oh, that's real risky. Real risky. That having been said, not a lot of other resources necessarily. Just to go after, so I'm feeling okay about that. Dmitry Badenov, exiled from Russia. Interesting. Don't know who that is. Empty pockets. A series of perceived poor decisions by the Salish national movement has led to a notable decrease in its ability to raise money. Numerous wealthy sympathizers have quietly halted their support for the movement in its current form. We do not wish to appear partisan. Always the same refrain. The organizer paced back and forth within his tiny office, fists clenched until it felt as if his knuckles were about to burst through his skin. Occasionally he stole a glance at the unopened envelopes on his desk, all of which he knew would repeat a variation of the same. Partisan. What did it mean? That they cared for something? That they'd chosen to do something beyond count the money in their vaults? He had something important to do, something which would change society itself. In that light, how could partisanship possibly be bad? Oh man, I kind of half-assed that one and skipped a line here. Sorry, I was refilling my water with my other hands and got my eyes on that. Had a chance to. He had something to do, something important to do, something which would improve society itself. They had a chance to do the same, is what I skipped. In that light, how could partisanship possibly be bad? I can go with perhaps we'll find an alternative source of funds which will weaken the movement and give me 2% of pops in Manitoba more loyalist. Or everything dies in the end, some faster than others, just makes the movement much weaker. I'm going to pick the second one. I don't particularly need a strong Salish national movement. All right. Ooh, Dionel Surret has passed. Let's go with the new general. We got a pillager here and a moderate. Yeah, let's throw him in charge. Doesn't need too many promotions, he'll be fine. Now, Shandong, I believe, was in a war before. And maybe annexing or protectorating them. Ooh, they're actually not gonna take that much infamy to protectorate. Let's go ahead and build up. Okay, market access here is increasing. Even as we speak. I just don't want to outrun capacity. So what we're going to do is I'm going to wait for a few more weeks. Just to get these railways a little bit further along. And then hopefully... Oh my goodness. Belgium and the Netherlands are fighting. That's bananas. One more week. And then I'll get some iron mines in production. Or under construction, rather. Because I believe I still have an iron importation line item. I sure do. Beijing? You're gonna get some iron. Oh man, there are a lot of people in subsistence jobs here. Beijing, you're gonna be so pleased that I brought you into this power block and market. You're gonna be as happy as a clam. And we got some more. Okay, actually, these are gonna be fine. We've already got sufficient market access now, which is interesting. From pop consumption of automobiles. That's cool. Alright, now. What's this? So, Netherlands wants Flanders. Wants the whole oh my gosh, what's the word? The full Monty. They want to eat the whole country. Belgium is very confident in their ability with the support of Scandinavia and Andash. Alright, well I'm not worried about that. They're going for a revoke on Flanders and Wallonia and to conquer Gelre, which is interesting. That is quite interesting. Just to make sure, yeah, okay, these mines are not going to come online before the railways are built, which would be a major problem if it happened. Now, how's my silk situation? Do I need more silk? I don't. I'm producing sufficiency of silk. The French-Canadian Union. Oh my goodness. My trade unions have become marginal. That's wild. Supporting the Russian workers. We will support the workers of Russia, boosting the power of their trade unions. Maybe we believe in the international cause of the working man, maybe we don't. In the end, it doesn't matter. What matters is that the Russian trade unions get stronger. An excellent idea. Russian trade unions get stronger. Or this would be ill-advised. They don't. I'm going to do the second one. I just marginalized my trade unions, and that's making my government more legitimate than it's ever been. Hold up. They stopped being marginalized. Gosh dang it. I even just chose to make them weaker. Okay, there we go. Get out of here. Get out of here, trade unions. Get out of here. Stop doing work to rule. Stop it. Stop it. Yeah, and stay gone. I'm such a goober. Alright. Shandong Click, you are moving down in Liberty Desire. How's everyone else? Siam's good. Cambodia is good. Alright, I've still got both of these timed modifiers, but how much longer do I have them? 10 months and 15 months. Actually, so that'll be fine. Protests allowed, salty armed forces. Interesting. Problematic policing. Actually, hold on. I forgot to start improving relations with France again. That was dumb. We're at 22. Police officers in uniform have been discovered supporting Canadian-American Union activity while on duty, lowering public confidence in the police force. A resident of Saskatchewan comments on members of the police force that walk by in pristine uniforms, with a hint of arrogance to their gait. Disdain drops from the onlooker's voice. These officers certainly think highly of themselves. They carry out errands for the Canadian-American Union and accept their gifts. They ignore their duty to the people of Saskatchewan. As long as everyone is discreet, there's no harm. 5% of the people in Saskatchewan become more radical, deteriorates or improves relations with the United States, or we need to restore the public's confidence. Pisses off the American-Canadian Union by -1, makes 5% of the pops in Saskatchewan more loyalist. I'm definitely going to go with that second one. 5% of pops in Saskatchewan is a huge number of loyalists. Just bananas. There, look at that. Saskatchewan has a population of 5 million at this stage. Immigration has continued. Unemployment and peasantry remain pretty low, so I'm feeling pretty good overall about our setup. We are still exporting a ton of cars. We could still stand to increase the size of our electrics industry by a lot. So let's do that. I got the rubber for it, or access to the rubber for it. Let's do it. Interesting. Some of our electrics industries are actually not very productive. We don't have labor-saving methods available for these buildings. Curious. Alright, maybe I'll leave that then. Maybe I'll throw some protectionist tariffs and export subventions on them. How much am I paying in subventions? Really a lot. What am I mostly subvening? I'm mostly subvening the export of tools and the export of engines. Okay, I may have gotten a little bit aggressive about the export of engines, but it is very productive for the motor industries. But tell you what, let's cut it back a little. How is tooling as well? Okay, all right. So tooling workshops are having a little bit of a dickens of a time. What are we like in terms of tooling? We are exporting a ton of tooling workshops, of tools. And we're producing precision tools. Nevertheless, I think it's time... Oh my goodness. I'm going to cut my export subvention on tools, and we're going to see how that affects the market. I don't think it's going to that much, because we're producing precision tools, and everyone wants that more than everything else. Okay, alright, that's looking good. Alright, now, engines. I'm just going to cut this back to a low subvention, and we're going to see how that impacts the market. Because if engine prices went down a little bit, that wouldn't be a tragedy, because we're producing tons and tons of engines here, and we're exporting fully half of them. Alright, so as you... Okay, it looks like the motor industries have not been affected. That's good. Which of my... Oh, yeah, I want these all on privatize. Nevertheless, I can build up more levels here. Let's build up 5 levels in Nunavut. And another 5 in Northern Colombia. And then... that should be fine. That should be sufficient. Now... iron is still a little bit of a weird duck. Oil's looking good. Fertilizer's looking good. Fish are looking fine. We're exporting a lot of hardwood. How are we doing for wood, though? It should be right around the same place, right? Oh, interesting. I'm going to throw in an export subvention for wood, because Canada produces a lot of wood. Exportation for tools has gone down a little bit, but only a little bit. Exporting for paper is still looking rock solid. I am actually going to go to an export subvention for paper, because I believe that that will allow us to significantly increase exports. I forgot I had an export tariff on there, actually. Producing enough for our own opium, enough for our own tea. Oh, interesting. Okay, so we are still bringing in wine from abroad. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the wine industries at our vineyards. Okay. Could be better. Yeah, let's build another 10 levels in Ontario. Build another... no, actually, build one more level in Oregon as well. Just because I like having even numbers. And that might cover the remainder of these exports. Let's also throw... maybe I'll throw an even larger import tariff on wine. To protect our own industries, you see. Furniture, I'm going to throw an export subvention on there. Just to keep prices up. Okay, cool. Let me see. Okay, so I'm still paying quite a bit in subventions, but that's okay. Liquor, you gotta have that. Paper, that might have been unwise, but them's the breaks. Interesting. The other thing I could do is I could reduce some taxes. Really kind of focus my tax policy. I think maybe I will. I'm going to remove my consumption taxes on coffee and fine art. There's political agitation. So that's getting me a lot of authority to play with. So maybe we bolster our utilitarian movement, and we'll see if we can get them in charge of the petite bourgeoisie. We're going to see how that goes. Let's, projected to increase to relevant 18%. Alright. Macroeconomics is spreading. Alright, so we've got the Bayonne government under our control. Guangdong Click is moving down in Liberty Desire. I'm going to turn them into a subject just as soon as I can, because then I can go after the Guangxi Click. And let's see what resources the Guangxi Click has available. Okay, some coal, some wood, silk, tea, those are nice. And for Guangxi proper, it's the usual suite of resources in China. All right, nothing too exciting, but plenty of markets. Now, let's take a quick look. All right, 6 more. Okay, our overlord has annexed another subject. That's going down. Ooh, we just unlocked the battleship. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right, let's get these fleets upgraded. Second fleet, I'm going to dock you back in Canada. First fleet, Dock you in Canada. Alright, and that was 6 more weeks until those modifiers go away. Well, 5 more weeks now. And what that'll do is that'll make all of our subjects a little bit more relaxed about the whole being our subject thing. Which I'm going to be happy about because I want that. I think I may have gotten a little bit over-ambitious. We're not going to cross the 1 billion line at this point unless something really extraordinary happens. Now, how is the Bayonne government doing? I have increased gainful employment significantly here. By the game's definition of gainful employment, which is non-subsistence work. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Beautiful. Alright, that is sorted out. This is almost here. And there we go. We'll reduce subject payments just as we always do. Anti-British Association. Fascinating. Alright. You're called Da Cheng now. Interesting. 7.5 infantry to take the area. Russia might step in, but I don't... Who cares? Alright. I am probably... What kind of an army have you got? Not what kind, what size? Yeah, you've got the potential for a pretty large army. I'm going to send the 3rd Canadian Army. Again, just to ensure that we've got sufficient strength here. I'm really not worried about it. What's this? Britain's going after Shandong. Gosh. Oh, they're going after it to steal it all. Hold on. How much of my economy does Britain own? Not much. 1 level. Because I really should get involved in this. Let's wait a little bit and see if someone else does before we get rolling here. Again, I would love to get a subject out of it, but that's a tough question. Yes, they're going for the whole whole banana. They wanna eat the country. The British do. Britain has quite a large army, but I'm not really worried about that, to be completely honest. I'm not concerned. Oh, interesting. The French are not concerned. They are unbothered, moisturized, in their lane, etc. They're not getting involved. Mobilization would be extraordinarily expensive, but I've got a lot of cash in the pot. 44 mil in gold reserves. Alright, what do we have available for war goals? I could transfer a subject. Steal South Africa. It's pretty large. But if we're being... Oh, I could steal the Federated Shan States. That would be fun. 2.6 infamy. It's barely any. Ooh. Oh, boy. British East Africa. Tough area. Don't want to get too involved over there. The Philippines is an interesting target, but I think at the end of the day, I'm doing imperialism in Southeast Asia, and the Federated Shan States are in Southeast Asia, so they're the ones I want. Let's do it. Let's get an army on the way over there. See what they say. And there we go. So, we'll put you on this front. And where do we have fronts with Britain? I'm going to mobilize everyone. Get all the lads together. Let's go ahead and build up one more block of scout cruisers. Just so that they can carry our largest armies. And then we'll naval invade Britain. Exciting. Oh, 2nd Canadian Army needs another leader. Oh my goodness. Let me see. Basic entrepreneur and Republican. Or corporatist, explorer, and compliant. Let's go with the corporatist. Alright, so now we've got a shortage of airplanes. Which isn't shocking. How big's the shortage? 595. Alright. Now if we go to an airplanes included method on one of our really large ones, yeah, it's 10 per level. So let's snag... Yeah, we'll do the ones in Saskatchewan and the ones in Alberta. And the ones in Idaho. Put those in airplane production. And that should be fine. How's the tank market? Tanks are pretty expensive. So let's have the... Really? You think you'd be that much less productive, huh? Even during a war? Alright, well that's fine. Alright, so in that case, 3rd Army. Send you back over here to Maya. Actually, we'll put one more army on Maya. The small army, they're just going to go right across the United States to get there. Alright, and it's probably going to be naval invasions. Ahoy. Yep, I bet they do. We'll take the 1st Army, we'll move them to just a little bit further east, get them rolling, so that we can kick off our naval invasion as soon as this war starts. I don't think there are any other fronts. I'm not worried about that. The British are scrambling a lot of troops to the Yucatan front, so that might mean things are a little bit easier naval invading the home counties. We'll see. And these scout cruisers are hiring, which I'm pleased about. Cash flow is really rock solid at this point. Again, this looks like it's a loss of quite a bit. It's not. It's really not. With how much we're spending here and how much we've got in our gold reserve, so we're spending about $1 million every 3 weeks. So we can handle this thing for about 2.5 years. Behind bars, the arrest and alleged ill treatment of a disorderly protester affiliated with the Athabasca National Movement has sparked resentment among his compatriots. Further demonstrations have been arranged, urging his release. Prison was a miserable place. Iron bars, stone walls, and cold floors. In the past few months, the guards had taken to casually tapping their batons against the bars when he passed by, making sleep impossible. He couldn't even escape in his dreams, as the tension he felt in the waking world began to bleed into his sleep as well. All this for pushing a policeman away? He'd regretted it at first. Now, though, perhaps he could say that every one of them deserved that and more. Perhaps an early release for good behavior can be arranged to piss off our petite bourgeoisie, weaker Athabasca National, or less active Athabasca National Movement, or we will not make an exception because of some hooligans. Petite bourgeoisie happier, Athabasca Movement more active. I'm going to go with the second one. I think that's fine. What war is this? This is a nihilist revolt in Anhui. Which potentially means opportunity for me. Ooh, rubber in Bangkok. Excellent. Hold up. How much rubber in Bangkok? Oh, quite a bit. Yeah, we'll build that up. Would either of you be willing to become a subject? No. Alright, that's fine. And I can't bring anyone else into this because that's not the type of war this is. Oh, excellent. Oh, I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased with how this is going. Excellent. I think I'm going to put the second fleet. Where do I want this second fleet, actually? We'll put them in... You know what? We'll just put them in the English Channel as well. And we'll get them on convoy rating. And I'll send this army to the front on my once their organization is sorted out. Alright, there's a naval invasion. It's over here. We'll grab the 4th Army and station them in the area to make sure that they're ready to go. And we will launch a naval invasion of our own. To quote a to quote Borderlands 3, suck on my best men. I love that quote. Alright. This force comparison on the Yucatan front seems really good for us. And we are winning even on offense, which is good for me. There's another naval invasion. We'll bring in another army. You know, I'm going to station some troops in Shandong. That's what I'm going to do. Giants of the Seas. Nicholas Fraser's use of battleships during the ongoing war has demonstrated that these massive constructions may still serve a purpose in modern naval warfare. The young girl looked wide-eyed at the ship floating in the harbor. It looks like it took all the world's steel to build. How many such boats are there? Of this immensity, only one, the Admiral replied, but you can be sure that as soon as our enemies find out about it, there will be 2 in this. Their presence will be a compelling argument, extra influence. By their might, we will rule the seas, extra prestige from Navy power projection, or we'll put this tactical experience to better use, free progress on modern battle fleet tactics. I'm going to pick the 3rd one, because that's what I would normally do, and this is a role-playing run. Alright, this army's organization is pretty good, but I'm feeling more confident about that front, so I'm not going to put them there. Let's go ahead and monitor our naval invasion. Force comparison is interesting. It's right around 0, so we'll see if we have the ability to progress forward with this invasion. A 3rd naval invasion. Wow, Britain, you're getting real ambitious over there. You're getting real ambitious over there. I might need to bring 2nd Canadian Army in. Yeah, the front over here in Yucatan is doing just fine. I'm not at all concerned. Alright, so there's their fleet. So we'll see when the front actually opens. I'm talking about it like it's a freaking theme park. Alright, there's a front. So let's go ahead and... We have 61 battalions here. We'll go ahead and put the 2nd Army there. It's going to make that force comparison very, very favorable for us. And that handles the... the front over there. Now, let's put another army in Shandong just to make sure that that area is going to be successfully defended. Okay. Put those troops on that front. Now, we have a 2nd front rolling in this naval invasion. We do. Thought we didn't, but we did. Let's go. Alright, yep, and then the Third Army is on their way over. Alright, how are things looking in Britain? We are winning our naval invasion. Excellent. And our force comparison here is improving, which I'm feeling pretty jazzed about. Pause, let's unpause. It's me waiting for the battle to end with the game paused like a goof. Just do a quick check. We've got the capacity in our armies, so that's good. Another battle is looking victorious for us. We have 62% landing progress. This might be really fast, my nerds. If I can get directly into Britain, this might be an entire wash here. Do we have a third front here yet? Not yet. They're stacking up naval invasions to make it impossible for me to see what's going on. Dastardly tactics, dastardly, perfidious Albion. All right. These fronts are still looking really rock solid. Basuto land is in default. I don't think that actually affects me. How are things going in Britain? We have invaded Britain. Alright, beautiful. That's fine. That's just fine. Collision default. Alright. Let me take a quick eyeball at Shandong. Shandong is looking great. Phenomenal, even. There's our other naval invasion. Alright, we'll put this force on the front. And you know what? We'll put the Third Army on the front as well. Since this front seems to need a little bit of extra reinforcement. We've lost some convoys, but we've got a very, very large number of convoys at this stage, so I'm not worried about it. We've successfully defended Shandong. We've successfully occupied the Federated Shan States. And we're in Britain. We're in Britain with an excellent force comparison. So I'm feeling like this war is basically sorted. British naval invasion. You know, it's not fully completed straight out the gate, but it's. I'm feeling very confident in our abilities. Let's just resort these forces to make sure that our fronts are all looking great, and they are. And we're sinking a lot of enemy convoys as well, which should be making Britain's economy more difficult to run. Now, let me just take a quick look and make sure that we don't... Okay, no more... nothing else popping off. Oh, Britain's invading Benin. I should defend Benin, but I'm defending myself. I've got plenty of troops in. The war will not be won in Benin. The war will be won in Britain. That's what I have to remind myself of here. Oh, I should also be improving relations with Dacheng. Oh, I am. All right, beautiful. I'm gonna improve relations with Shandong as well. I think they will be my subject eventually. Yeah, and all this is looking good. It looks like... Nope, that's not something I need to worry about. Yeah, I've got control of more and more of Britain. Britain, I don't know what you're doing with all those war goals there. I think you're just handing me war support protection at this point. What's going on here? Oh, this is the Civil War in the Anhui clique. Alright. I don't need to worry about that. That's normal. Things are normal over there. Lost a general. In the first army, no less. Ooh. Alright. Let's go with this entrepreneur. That could have been disastrous if I hadn't noticed that, because we need to keep our organization up. I'm actually going to put one of these fellas on blockade. And with our first fleet, I'm I'm gonna put one of these fellows on blockade. And one of them on raid convoys. We're just going for maximum economic damage at this stage. Come on, come on, get him, get him, get him! Yeah, yeah! Oh yeah. Now let's take a quick eyeball at our casualties. Our side has suffered about 500,000 casualties, of which 80 million Canadians dead and 200,000 wounded. Britain's side, on the other hand, has suffered 1.1 million casualties, including 200,000 British dead, and it looks like another 450,000 wounded. So I'm feeling very, very stocky here. Feared but not loved, Oldenburg, owing us an obligation, could be used to request a propaganda campaign, making the world see our nation in a more pleasant light. It is well for a nation to be respected, feared even, but can we truly expect them to support us in the future? If most Oldenburgian children grow up hearing stories about how we will eat them if they don't behave, everyone should remember how we came to their aid. Oldenburg gets an event in 7 days, a kinder offer. If they accept, it'll reduce our infamy. If they do not, it'll deteriorate relations. Or why? When we are a nation to be feared, no message will be sent. I'm going to do the first one. It's always nice to get some free mitigation. Henry Mackenzie. You were useless to me, sadly. Tragically, in fact. Now all I've got is this integralist. Tragedy. Alright. Alright. The war in Britain proceeds apace. Cause without a rebel. Although Mackenzie McMurrick is still fighting for his cause, no one is following him anymore. Despondent, McMurrick has started publicly remarking that he may give up on his activism altogether. What's the point? Speakers only have any speak to empty halls and in empty chairs. There's no crowds, no banners. If anyone pays attention at all, they never understand anything we're preaching. What reason is there to stay here? We're all stuck doing nothing. Perhaps Mackenzie McMurrick can find greener pastures elsewhere. He's exiled. Or no time for timidity. The movement needs drastic change. 33% chance each the movement gets more pop attraction, less pop attraction, or increased activism. I'm just going to do the first one. I think it's fine. I don't need any more integralists around here. Alright, we do have naval invasions rolling. Okay, they are naval invading Shandong at this stage. So I'm going to put both of my armies on that front to make sure that they are not able to. If I wanted to get really silly, I could set myself up to start building again, but I don't think that's strictly speaking necessary. I'm feeling pretty good with how things are currently rolling. So how fast is Britain losing more support? Pretty fast. Their side's lost 88% of battles. Naval invasion in Quebec. Well, you don't say. I suppose I'll put an army there. We'll see what comes of that. They couldn't invade Vancouver, so they're going to Quebec. Ever-increasing influence. Members of the Anti-British Association have discreetly dispatched one of their number to amplify their mission in Canada's most widely read newspaper. Interesting. Where am I with legitimacy? I'm at 86. The Anti-British Association has calculated with utmost mastery the dissemination of materials to secure a foothold in both the political world and the public's imagination. With great satisfaction, the lobbyist comments, there is no denying that the number and reach of newspapers is ever expanding. This approach is sure to reach influential lawmakers to favor our scheme. This sets a bad precedent, industrialists unhappy, or this is ingenious, increases appeasement of the interest group, or of the lobby, but reduces legitimacy by 5. I'm going to go with the first one. I think having my industrialists be a little mad is just fine. You know, it's amazing that Britain is still invading when Britain herself is thoroughly invaded. We're not doing that much devastation to Britain, so we're not going for total economic destruction here. But nevertheless, I'm feeling pretty good overall. The Scythia is in default, that's fine. Sorry, I keep making all kinds of mouth noises. I should be more conscientious about that. Another Hyderabadi uprising against France. Now, I don't think France has the ability to get there. I'm going to start improving relations with Bastar, because Bastar could be a subject of mine. Kolhapur is also a French protectorate. Interesting. Is Bengal a French protectorate? No, they're just French colored. They're France colored. Alright, how's our how's your little naval invasion? Alright, it's rolling now. So we'll go ahead and put our lads on the front. And that should be just fine. And we are continuing to thrust forward in Britain. We haven't got a hold of Wales yet, but we got most of England, and we're working on northern England. Got most of southern and central England, and we're working on northern England. Winchester, Mercia, Kent, East Anglia, all these other areas. Again, weird that they're naval invading when they are fighting a war on their home territory on land. You would think they would put more forces here. But actually, it doesn't seem like they have the capacity to. Oh, these armies are beaten up really bad. That's what's going on. That's why they're here. Alright, so at this stage, we should be able to get everything we desire. Humiliate, a transfer of the Federated Shan States, and the liberation of Yeongnam, which should be delightful. For me. Because I could go after Yeongnam, and then I could put them into a market that's cool. Again, I'm protecting Shandong simply to turn around and consume them myself, which seems, I know, sounds a little bit hypocritical, but, oh yeah, I have mandates. Delightful. Oh, we might actually finish our power block at this rate. 28 months they're being went. Nah, we won't. We'll almost get there. Alright, so what do we want? We're a trade league. Construction, we can get increased construction efficiency, reduce infrastructure usage for construction sector buildings, and unlocks a company. Let's see. Foreign investment. Reduced costs for nationalization would be convenient. Freedom of movement. Allow migration within a power block. Interesting. Companies. Extra company throughput bonus. I think transportation infrastructure is the way to go. So this will get us, at level 2, 33% more infrastructure per 100k population, 33% maximum infrastructure for population, and 20% extra throughput. When we get level 3, we'll have plus 10 economy of scale building level cap, which is bananas strong. So this just seems like the most sensible way to do things. This is going to provide us with a lot of extra infrastructure around here in China. And they don't have war support protection because we've got their capital. And we are successfully defending here in Quebec, which is nice. Alright, that's a naval invasion repelled. Or repulsed, rather. Yeah, and they're losing war support so fast now. In fact, let's go ahead and bring the 3rd Army into the front of Britain. Just to keep things rolling, make sure we're going fast. We're still sinking a bananas amount of enemy convoys. I don't know how Britain is functioning. Can I see anything about their convoy situation? It doesn't seem like it. Actually, I can look at it indirectly by looking at their subjects and seeing... Yeah. Isolated from the British market. 0 plus 1. That's because Britain is totally goobered on convoys. Yeah, so that means all of their subjects are getting are getting very, very unhappy about the situation. So that's good. That's a success for me. A success for Canadian anti-colonial policy. Anti-British imperial policy, at least. I should have gone for a liberative Ireland. Now that I know that I can invade Britain, I should look into liberating Ireland. Oh my goodness. Belgium did get Gelre, and the Netherlands and Friesland is broken off into a socialist revolt. Interesting. Not my business, but interesting. I am also suffering a small amount of convoy damage, but really it's barely anything. I have so many dockyards, it's bananas. This is a communist revolt in Kalat, which does not affect me, but, you know, it could. Maybe one day. Alright, and that should be the war sorted out. Maybe one more week here. Britain is fully occupied. And there they go. Lovely. Home county soil devastation 4%. Not too much. My armies should be on their way home. Now, Shandong. Democratic Republic. That's delightful. How bananas would it be if I simply turned around and turned them into a protectorate? It would be a quick war, though. If I said I wanted to do this, how would this go? First of all, actually, before I do this, I can nationalize a little bit more French industry. So let's head back to the building registry. I was nationalizing oil rigs. Oh my goodness, that would certainly be a lot of damage to our relationship. Let's do this much. And then we'll get improving relations once again. Alright, so the thing I was talking about, if I make them a protectorate, no one would stop me. This isn't conquering them, it's making them a protectorate. Let's do it. Let's get silly. We'll station both of these armies in Guangdong Click. We'll put the second fleet over there. And that'll be all we need. We'll take the first fleet back home to our home waters. Now, what do I need? What would be useful to me in terms of my market? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We're getting overwhelmed by notifications again. Alright, what's this? A communist revolt in Siam. Okay, I'm not worried about that. We'll send one of these armies to handle it. Shouldn't be a problem. Where are y'all going? Okay, they're turning around. They're turning around now. I'm going to set some protectionist tariffs on rubber. And export subventions as well. Because I feel like we should be relying on ourselves for rubber. Seeing as we've got quite a bit. Now we have the Shan states as well. Interesting. I should really move the Burmese Shan states into the Federated Shan states, because the Shan states are a Shan primary culture nation. So there's subject payments. And that will be effective. Now, Cambodia is going down in Liberty Desire at a very healthy clip, which is good. Da Cheng, same deal. Shandong, I still want to be better friends with you. I know relations are bad on account of I am in the process of working to subjugate you, but, you know, it could be better. That doesn't have to get in the way of us being friends. In fact, we'll be even better friends later. Friends sharing a market. Is Russia involved in this? Oh no, this is just units moving across the across Siberia. Large numbers of English people have begun migrating from Great Britain to Ontario and the surrounding states. That's really funny. That's probably because of all the devastation I inflicted. That's very, very funny. And tech? Ooh, antibiotics. Oh, this is excellent. This is actually wonderful. Because now I can increase institutional investment in healthcare. Well, by 2 more, actually. Oh, and I got 1 more level of home affairs as well. Excellent. I almost don't have the governance capacity for that. But, okay, a lot of people are declaring neutrality. Get out of here. Don't crash my game, bro. Don't crash my game. Alright, so that's everything we need in society. So I think from here, we'll get oil turbine. We'll get oil. No, we'll get dough rollers, and then we'll get oil turbine. And then we'll get flash freezing. We'll finish out the production ones. I got crazy tech spread at this point in the game, my nerds. It's really, really high. Are the United Baltic provinces low in Liberty Desire now? They're not quite, but I can stop sharing knowledge at least. This is going to increase their Liberty Desire by a little bit, but that's not really going to affect things. Alright, so now I might be able to simply run in and snag Shandong before they can get fully mobilized, because they've got their units are potentially pretty low in organization because they've just been moving across neutral territory for a while. So we'll see how that goes. I was gonna increase the size of something. Right, no more rubber to get here. Oh boy. So many people to declare neutrality. Something going on in Java. Do I need to care about these? I think I don't. So. Neutrality. 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 And, last but not least, neutrality. Or were they born with hearts filled with neutrality? Alright, so. Quick. 20-minute naval. There's the Communist Revolt in Siam. We'll send them up there when the time comes. Now, this Hyderabadi uprising, France is going to lose eventually, but it's going to take a long time. It would be very funny if I turned them into a protectorate. I wonder if I can, once my current wars are completed. Alright, so this is in Portuguese East Africa. Oh, no, this is Portugal going after Bali. Interesting. Quite curious. Alright, this should be Siam sorted out. Let's grab our 8th Army. Move them to the front in Shandong. Ain't I a stinker? We're going to need a new general here. We got an honorable diplomat and a market liberal. You're in. You're the tops, boyo. And other combinations of words that definitely make sense. So, Socialist Honduran attitude improved. That's interesting. You need an 8th Army. What's going on with you? Okay, no, you're not... You're fine. You're fine. Walk it off. Alright, beautiful. So that's the invasion of Shandong completed, and that should finish out that war quite promptly. The private sector is still rocking the entire queue. In fact, the investment pool is bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S. Let's, you know what? Let's start maxing out construction capacity. Because my nerds, I've got the ability. We're going to find out. Actually, maybe not the Maritimes. We're going to find out just how much this fully operational Canadian economy can build in 1 week. I tell you what. Private sector is still going strong with 300 construction sectors. Maybe I go to Arkwell. There's my protectorate over Shandong. We will go back to improving relations. Are there any resources that need to be developed? Could definitely use some more logging. What about here in Jiangsu? Ooh, actually, we have cotton development capacity here, which is very good because I am actually bringing in a lot of fabric from other countries. Let's throw a massive import tariff on there, and let's build up cotton capacity. And we'll build up some logging and fishing as well here in Jiangsu, just to make sure things are perspicacious. I could probably increase construction sectors even further. In fact, perhaps I shall. I didn't max the Maritimes before, so let's max them. What about Newfoundland and Labrador? They're not in there. The heck? What's going on? Alright, Oregon, get maxed. Southern Columbia, get maxed. And Yukon Territory, you can go up to 20. Nunavut, you can go up to 20. Idaho, get maxed. And Alaska, go up to 20. Time to build. Ooh, lost an admiral. Okay, second fleet. We need a new fella. Let's go with this industrialist guy. He's compliant and he likes supply. Supply is very important for navies. One of the chief failings of the Empire of Japan in World War II is not really appreciating supply. Alright. How is Shandong... They're actually going up in Liberty Desire, which is very interesting. Didn't expect that. Let me see. Part of it's from infamy. That's going to go away really soon. Part of it's from anti-government interest groups. So let's fund lobbies. It's going to take a little cash, but only a little. That Shang should be... Oh, not quite there yet. What about Cambodia? They're not quite there yet either. Golly. Well, they sure are taking their sweet time. Again, I'm making it harder by causing myself a bunch of infamy. Alright, what does that do to fabric in my customs union? Beautiful. We're producing almost completely our own fabric now. Excellent. See, Shandong? I'm helping. I keep telling myself I'm helping. Yeah, there you go. We're giving them jobs, you know, in cotton plantations. Like a normal imperialist. Let's build up fishing as well. I find it a little hard to believe these places are not being able to hire, but, you know, them's the breaks. Alright, let's take a quick look for infrastructure. Infrastructure's looking just fine. That's all looking real good. Right, now... Sean. Oh my goodness, I need to increase relations here real good. Let's grant... the Shan states, Shan, Burma, I know you're mad. I know you're mad, but you'll feel better about it later. It's you were discriminating against those people, so you know really I'm helping really. If you think about it, I'm the good guy in this situation. All right, so I'm holding most of the coast of China at this stage, which is very, very good for me. I'm raising all my own tea, pretty much all my own wine. I'm going to throw an export subvention on fruit. I'm going to throw an export subvention on dyes. Heck it. I got so much of them. I'm not going to throw an export subvention on tanks. Those are going to go up in price during wars. And that's going to make my life real complicated. Real complicated. Can I use... Can any of these territories produce sugar? There's automated bakeries. Wonderful. Not here. Nope. Well, it's worth looking into at least. So... Automated dough rollers. Let's handle that quickly. Really? You're less productive with automated dough rollers. That's really shocking. I mean, I guess we'll go back to manual. That's really curious. I would not have expected that one bit. All right. Still doing well for unemployment? We surely are. I need to increase the size of the government sector. I'm probably short on taxation capacity in some areas. Yes, Northern Colombia, Idaho, and Alberta. Northern Colombia. How much taxation capacity do we need? Quite a bit. Let me see, we're getting 30 per level here. So we should only need 2 levels. Alberta is short by a hair. And was it Idaho? Yes. 2 levels. Nice. Alright, and this should get us everything we need to sustain our increased home affairs and increased healthcare. And that'll be very good. How long have we been going on here? It's been a nice, clean 2 hours. At this point, well, we've actually made really, really good time for the end of the run, so we'll be finishing out by the end of the year. Hey, Scandinavia, you want trade privileges in exchange for investment rights? What if you gave me investment rights and I paid you instead? let's nationalize some more French oil companies, shall we? All right, sounds good. Since we're neutral towards... Now I'm getting a little silly. They shouldn't be mad about me owning my own oil. Oh, right. They built up a bunch of our sulfur mines. That's curious. I admit I'm going a little hog wild here. Alright, that should be enough. And then we'll improve relations with them a little bit more. We'll see how they feel. What does that put me at in terms of national ownership? 90%. Lovely. France is down to owning 677 levels of our economy. We also have... So what's interesting about this is that we're in a kind of ersatz way. We're at... we have actually reached our... or we're closing in on our 1 billion goal because we've got 406 million GDP pounds in GDP ownership of places outside Canada, which is pretty extreme. For comparison, France owns 304 million, so that's still quite a bit, including a bunch of what our economy they own. Britain owns 358 million. Okay, so that's maybe not as extreme as I thought, actually. But they are major imperial powers. Like the Ottoman Empire only owns 30 million, Spain 10 million, Austria 54 million, Prussia 21 million, and Russia 48 million. Scandinavia 38 million. Although Scandinavia mostly doesn't even own their own economy. A bunch of countries have interest in Scandinavia, including me, I suppose. Prussian uprising, you get them. All right, okay. I think I can cross over that line before the end of the run. So what else can I build up production of? Just to get us going here. China is dirt cheap, right? Still? Yeah. Surely is. Let's increase our export subvention of porcelain. And let's build some more glassworks. We've still got... We've got some very, very productive glassworks. Let's go with 10 levels in the Northwest Territories. Let's go with 10 levels in Manitoba. Let's go with 20 levels in Manitoba, even. And then 10 more levels in the Rock, 10 in southern and northern Columbia, and 20 in Saskatchewan. There's our healthcare and home affairs increasing. So this is a really significant increase in glassworks. I hope I'm not completely outrunning demand. But in case I do, we'll probably put an increase in export subventions in there. Let's take a quick look at our wheat industry, our farms. We're actually doing pretty well. Let's increase some of our home farming capacity. Just to, you know, to make ourselves more resource independent. A lot of these businesses are reasonably productive, and we'll be able to import more grain, or we won't need to import as much grain. We'll be raising it ourselves, and that's important. Now, steel continues to be expensive, but I think most of those places increasing the size of the steel industry is not going to help. Yeah, a lot of these spots, well, southern Columbia I can increase the size of, so let's do that. Saskatchewan's like right on the lip. The Rock, they can be increased. Idaho, they can be increased. Ontario, needless to say, can be increased. Northwest Territories, let's build them up. And Southern Colombia, let's build them up. And Quebec will build them up as well. That'll be fine. That'll produce an absolute heck ton of steel. Do we have any automotive that are still only producing cars? Not. Oh, there's a few. Let's increase the ones in Manitoba for now. Now I'm paying absolutely through the nose for all this construction, but we're building a million things all at once, and I got a huge gold reserve, so I'm not really worried about any of that. And let's see if we can get ourselves over the line here. Ooh, I got a wheat farm I missed. I'm actually going to throw these auto industries at the top of the queue, because there's not that many of them. We can get those built in 20 weeks, and then these glassworks will continue to be built up. We're in the middle of 35, so that should be reasonable. My utilitarian, I'm going to stop bolstering my utilitarian movement. I've given up on this movement, I'll tell you what. Industrialists petition government. Why, industrialists? Why do you always do this to me? Thomas Chisholm, the ever-efficacious leader of the industrialists, has approached the government with a plan to enact colonial exploitation. A successful enactment is certain to contribute to his reputation as an effective politician. Does this do anything meaningful for me? Not really. A word, please. The minister, halfway out the door, startled at the sound. A man stood in the hallway, bearing a leather-bound dossier. Chisholm, he knew. His appearance was unmistakable. Yes, of course, he said. Should I? Chisholm gave a nod and handed over the folder. At least 100 pages, judging by the weight. I'm looking to raise the first draft tomorrow, he said. I would be honored to have your support. See what we can do. Offer them free trade as a compromise, or they must understand present situation does not allow for this. Ooh, they're going to be quite pissed off if we do this. Well, unfortunately, I don't want free trade, because I'm doing a lot of protectionism. So, we'll see what we can do. And we'll get to it. Again, this would not normally affect things, but I am a... This would not normally affect the run, because it's not going to come due till later, but this is a role-playing run, as you know. So we are going to do it. I pushed them off once, but they're hungry for colonial exploitation once again. So we'll go ahead and get that rolling. Great Britain is going after Siam to get, or Dainam to get a protectorate. I could have gotten them as a protectorate, but no longer. I don't have the ability at this stage, but I can still wall them off, the British, I mean, by stealing the Yunnan click. It would only be 4 infantry. I'm extremely tempted to do it. I'm just going to wait a little bit before I do. Maybe we can simply imagine this is something that would be on the agenda for 36, were the run going to continue that long. So, I have the number 2 GDP per capita in the world. That's bananas. For a country with 75 million people in it, to have the highest GDP per capita in the world, that is absurd. That is so absurd. Oh, I'm feeling very full of myself. Hey, I got my standard of living up a little bit as well. Yeah, we're number 1 in domestically owned GDP, which is pretty rad. Again, I'm really hoping to cross over that line. If I don't, it's no big deal, but it would be nice if I could. All of these glassworks getting built up should at least provide some kind of a GDP spike. Popular playwright endorses reform. In the midst of the debate surrounding colonial exploitation, one of the country's leading playwrights, strongly associated with the industrialists, has staged a widely acclaimed play whose politically laden theme makes no secret of the author's desire for the law to be passed. The man's viewpoints may be somewhat partisan, but sir, you cannot argue with his prose. Colonial exploitation will be on everyone's lips now, 10% enactment success chance. Sure puts the industrialists in a good light, stronger industrialists. Let's ensure the play gets a wider international audience, extra prestige. I'm going with that second one. Or that third one. I like prestige, what can I say? Oh. A communist revolt in Palanpur? Not a problem. We'll go ahead and mobilize one of our armies. I've got another army that's still over here in Shandong. We'll move them back to Canada. I was going to look into coal. Because I am actually showing a expensive coal in our market. So let's finish out our coal resources. We got plenty to exploit still. Here in Canada, actually, wow. In fact, I'm gonna move some of these to the top of the queue. Just get them rolling as fast as possible, because mines build fast. I'm not gonna build too many of them all at once real fast, because we're just about finishing out the automotive industries. And again, if I can get this over like 600, we should be good. And that would be nice. That would let me still kind of complete my goal. Ah. By the way, did the Hyderabad uprising become Hyderabad yet? No, they're still in their war with France. Oh, that's fine. I'm not worried about that. We're in October of 35. Come on, automotive industries. Heck yes, there we go. Alright, so the steel mills are probably not going to get finished before the end of the run. But that's okay. I can still imagine that they will be. Peace between Brazil and Russia, nice. And I'm hoping that our GDP continues to go up. Perhaps not. Law progressed to review, not shocking there. That's pretty easy to figure out. Alright. What is... Ah, there's a modernist revolt in Fengtian, is what Manchuria is called now. Interesting. I think I can get... Yeah, so we'll go ahead and get Da Cheng down to being a subject. We'll reduce subject payments as well. I goofed it. I should have done Cambodia. Should have done Cambodia, my nerds. But they're going down. I might be able to get past there before the run is finished. I probably won't, but I might be able to. I would be delighted if I could. I should improve relations with them. I didn't realize relations with Cambodia had fallen to only cordial. Siam is quite friendly. Cambodia is only cordial. Relations with France are continuing to improve, which is good, because I'm continuing to nationalize French industry. Alright, we're not going to get there. And that is going to be the run. Before we go, let's just take a quick pass through Canada. So, British Columbia, well, Northern Columbia, population 5 million. Where's our capital building, or our capital city? Can't be this. That's just a mine. Where's our capital? Is it just this? That's a very small Vancouver. A very small Vancouver indeed. Curious. I didn't expect that. Great Plains, Alberta, a moderately sized city. I'm a little surprised by this. I'm the number 5 country by total population, just below Russia, the United States, France, and Great Britain. I'm above Bengal. I'm above, well, sorry. Oh, right, because China exploded. Oh my goodness. Saskatchewan's a little bit on fire. Got a nice large city here. Unfortunately, we're in the conflict view. Let me see if I can go to States. Regina is our capital here in Saskatchewan. Fort Edmonton is our capital here in Alberta. Oh, Prince George is the capital of Northern Columbia. All right, that's delightful. Oh, okay, nice, very nice. Over here in the national capital of Fort Douglas, again, a pretty modest city, all told. Although perhaps I am simply being biased by the sheer size of Canada. As many have said, Canada is really big. Quebec and Ontario. We have Ottawa and Montreal here. The at least in Victoria 3, they're kind of the twin cities of Canada here, very close to each other, right here on the St. Lawrence. Both of these have developed very, very large and wide in geographic terms, and that's a product of just the enormous investment in industry that we've completed here over the course of the entire game. Just huge spread of industrial development. We also have Sherbrooke built up as well, and we got Quebec City with a huge fishing industry and dockyard industry over here. If we go over to we got a Sudbury, we have a small mining community here. Ontario also appears to be on fire, but them's the breaks. So, again, doesn't look like a lot compared to the size of Canada as a whole, but this is 20 million population here in Ontario. 6.5 million in Manitoba, 5.5 million in Saskatchewan, 5.8 million in Alberta, 5 million in Northern Columbia, 11.5 million people in Quebec. The Maritimes here, we've got these are HQs. These are not the names of the cities, I don't think. We're back to this other. Okay, states. Give me the states. Halifax and Lüneburg are the names of the two major cities here in the Maritimes. Then we got Moncton over here and Fredericton over here. So we got pretty. Oh, and St. John here. So we got a pretty substantial number of cities here in the Maritimes. Halifax, as you can see, is quite large. Lüneburg is moderately sized. And then if we go to Newfoundland and Labrador, let me see. Shishatu is our extraction capital here. And then we go back over here to Mount Pearl, which is the proper state capital. Way up in the north, Rankin Inlet is the capital of Nunavut. This is mostly the tundra terrain type, as you can see. Do we have another city south of here? Yes, we do. The city of Arviat is small, but productive. And we've got a large farming community over here. And then, as we go west to the Northwest Territories, show me a capital, please. Hay River. Nice. Hay River way up on... oh, wow. Actually, this is pretty much the dead center of the Northwest Territories. Pretty modest-sized community. And then there's the Yukon Territory with her capital here at Watson Lake. I don't see a lake, but I feel assured that there is one here. So this is all of Canada, Canada today, in our timeline. In addition, we've claimed Alaska, so we should have a city in Alaska, Anchorage here, pretty solid. We also have the Pacific Northwest of what is, in our timeline, the United States, including Idaho, Oregon, and Southern Columbia, which is Washington, if it's part of the United States. So we have the cities of Boise, Portland, as well as some smaller cities, Astoria, Eugene, and Bend. And then north of that, we've got a cluster of cities around the coast. Just right across the bay from Vancouver, we've got Fort Nisqually, Port Townshend, and Bellingham. All of our big cities in Southern Columbia right on the coast here. So, clear the locked map mode. We developed ourselves a very large power block with 18 members, most of them I believe all of them my subjects, including Maya, We've got 3 subject states in China: the Guangdong Clique, Dacheng, and Shandong, and the Beiyang government. So that's actually 4. We have a number of 5 subject states in Southeast Asia, including Kutai or Borneo, Siam, Shan, Burma, and Luang Prabang, as well as Cambodia, which is our protectorate. So that's actually 6. We have 3 subject states in India. We have Mahashatra here, Baroda here, and Palanpur over here, which is mostly currently occupied by a communist revolt, but that won't stick around for that long. We also seized the United Baltic provinces. We have a huge market, and Canadian industry absolutely fuels massive growth and massive increases in standard of living here, particularly in our less populated areas, I would like to hope. Let's take some looks at that. So Kutai, relatively low population, 2.75 million people, secure standard of living, which is rock solid. In fact, we're the number 10 standard of living, and let me see how many of these countries are in our block. Actually, only Kutai. I picked a bad example. A lot of these places. So let's take a look at United Baltic States. Okay, they're Midland. A lot of our places in India and China are not going to have such high standard of living because their populations are so high that they don't have the. Basically, what it is they don't have the amount of industry to provide the wages to bring standards of living too far up. So like, look at Siam. Actually, Siam's at middling. They're doing pretty well, 15.5. Cambodia 18.5, Luang Prabang 18.8, Shan 11.9, so they're not doing as well. Burma 14.1, they're doing okay. And then if we go directly to China, look at Shandong 9.4, Guangdong Clique 8.3, Dacheng 7.4. The Beiyang government 10.7, they're pretty well developed economically. In terms of our power block, we developed a very strong trade league. Internal and external trade, advanced research. It's very hard for me to not get advanced research. Advanced research is just so strong. In terms of politics, we went with a slightly weird build. We went with a technocracy. We stayed at racial segregation the whole game. We got the industrialists into power early, and they stayed there, which means we never developed workers' rights. We never developed child labor prohibitions. We never got off of legal guardianship for rights of women. I wish I had been able to do that. That's my one thing that I would have liked to do, that I feel like I wasn't able to accomplish in terms of my politics. I should have gotten freedom of expression, but we went with a more sort of authoritarian, nationalistic technocracy, and I think that basically worked. It allowed us to construction max throughout the entire game. Can't get any more legitimacy than I've currently got, which is just fine. So a powerful, preeminent Canada in global affairs, militarily and industrially, the powerhouse of the world. Our nearest rival, we have a total of 9809 prestige. Our nearest rival are the French, who are rocking 8615. So we're not head and shoulders above everyone else. I don't know that we would necessarily be able to fight Britain and France at once and win. I think we would be able to fight them to a standstill, but I don't know that we could win. But still, we built a very impressive Canada over the course of our run, and I'm feeling pretty good. Let's go ahead and let the game finish out. We'll take a look at our tables. I don't remember where we started GDP-wise, but I know it was quite modest. We got independence, I think, in the 1870s. Pretty reasonably early. At the same time that we broke India out of the empire, which was pretty cool. Can I look at this? It doesn't seem like it. Alright, let's go to pie charts. Let's take a look at where we are. So, we're a technocracy, so this shouldn't be shocking to anyone. Political strength largely in the hands of the capitalists. Half the political strength in the entire country in the hands of capitalists and engineers. Shopkeepers holding another 6th. And then we got, interesting, quite a bit of political power still held by aristocrats at the end of the game. That's a little bit shocking, actually. How many aristocrats did we wind up with? About 500,000. Well, that's quite good. It's quite impressive. I should say, that's quite a lot. It's not good, it's a lot. Let me see. In terms of our population, we ended up with 11.5 million engineers, 14 million clerks, almost 18 million machinists, 11 million shopkeepers, 11 million laborers. How many capitalists did we wind up with by the end of the game? Here. About 1 million. So that's moderate. It's not as many as you can get by totally industrialization maxing, but it is pretty good. So what else? We kept our population growing the entire game, really fast actually. We hit 76 million people by the end. In terms of political strength, we wound up pretty diverse in terms of population. Political strength, Franco-Canadians, Anglo-Canadians, and English held the majority of the political power. The next quarter is held by various, probably European minorities. Northern Italians, North Germans, South Italians. Then we get Spanish, Romanian, and various and sundry other smaller minorities. In terms of population, overwhelmingly we were Europeans, but of many different origins. So if you go with Germans and Italians, English and Canadians, that's about 70% of the country. We have some Spanish, Russians, Romanians, and others. Ukrainians going up to about 75%, and then the remaining 25% is a huge different spread of nationalities. We didn't do much with religion. Our country was primarily Catholic. Plenty of Protestants living in, as well as Orthodox and sundry other religions. But yeah, very good run overall. I'm feeling pretty satisfied with it. I hope you are too. We're coming to the end of our run here. Next time we're going to go with Japan. To take advantage of the new Great Wave content, which is going to completely rework the Meiji Restoration. So I hope you'll join me for that. If you got this far, drop a like, drop a subscription. There's a link to my Patreon in the description if you feel inclined to support me financially. Yeah, I've been delighted to have you here, and yeah, I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I'll see you on the other side.